Welcome to Dr. P.C. Varma Economist YouTube channel. This is the YouTube class in which we discuss today assumptions of Solow model. After discussing features of Solow model, we come to the assumptions on which Solow model was developed. We all know that Solow growth model came to existence in 1956, and in the same year Swan has also presented a model which is similar to Solow. So it is also known as Solow-Swan model, 1956. Solow is a great economist, and he was awarded Nobel Prize in Economics in 1987. And therefore, everywhere nowadays, Solow model is the basis of modern theory of economic growth. We all know that the economic growth is the most important aspect of discussion at graduation level. What is economic growth? Economic growth is a continuous process of increase in production, increase in real production in the long run. And GDP is considered to be the measuring rod of economic growth. This was introduced by Mr. Harold. In Harold Domer model, economic growth is considered as there is continuous increase in GDP in a year in any nation. So nation's growth is measured in terms of GDP, and that is known as economic growth. Economic growth is spontaneous. Economic growth is continuous. Economic growth is related to economic factors. And there is a thin line of difference between economic growth and economic development. Economic development is defined as economic growth plus change in the economy. This change is positive or negative. Increase in population, increase in quality of population, increase in the roads, infrastructure, airport, railway line, bridges, flyovers. Many these infrastructure is known as change. Change in the education level, pattern, standard. Change in the health condition, pattern, standard. Change in the level of knowledge. Change in the level of innovations. Ideas creation per 1,000 person. There are many economic indicators and which we will say that economic growth plus change is equal to economic development. We are talking about economic growth. So we are mainly concerned with the production aspect, real increase in production. And in Solow model, the first assumption is related to population. First assumption of Solow model is population grows at a constant rate. Let it be G. Somewhere it is a small n, but let it be here G. And therefore current population represented by capital N and future population represented by N dash. Dash is superscript dash. population growth equation is formed in Solow model on this assumption. Equation is n dash is equal to n bracket 1 plus a small g bracket closed. Here a small dash represents future population, and where n dash represents future population, n represents current population, g represents constant rate of growth in population. So this assumption is population, and this population in the model is also written as labor. Labor term L represents population. Assumptions of a Solow model. Number one was population, and number constant growth of population. Number two is all consumers in the economy save a constant proportion of their income, and consume the rest. Therefore, consumption is represented by capital C and output is represented by capital Y. And these two are linked through consumption equation. Consumption equation is C is equal to 1 plus a small s in bracket 1 plus a small s bracket close y times y. This is very important aspect which you have read at graduation level, that income is equal to consumption plus saving, and a small s represents rate of saving, and a small s into y is equal to volume of saving. So if we write capital S, it means it is volume of saving. If we write a small s, that is a rate of saving. Rate of saving in economics, marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to consume. We all know that marginal propensity to consume is small c and marginal propensity to save is a small s. A small c plus a small s is equal to 1. Therefore, a small c will be equal to 1 minus a small s. In the equation, capital C is equal to 1 plus a small s. 1 plus a small s. So, the proportion which consumer will consume after saving, save a constant proportion s of their income. So, constant proportion of consumers saving out of income is represented by a small s. This is most important term. A small s into y is equal to capital S. So in Solow model, while discussing a small s into y, we always represent saving equal to investment. We all know that y is equal to c plus s and y is equal to c plus I. Then the one is y minus c is equal to s, another y minus c equal to I. Therefore, I is equal to S. This identity, this is called identity. This identity is used and while discussing further regarding the investment, we will use in the model a small s into capital Y, that is equal to volume of saving. A small s is represented as the consumers in the economy saving at the rate of constant rate, constant proportion, which is represented by a small s. This is the second assumptions. Third assumptions of the Solow model is all firms in the economy produce output using the same production technology. In the economy, production technology will be same. All firms, we all know that there are many firms in the industry. We have read at macroeconomics that plants are unit of firm. So many plants taken together will be known as firm. Firm is created by several plants. Plants taken together, there is a creation of firm. And then industry. Industry means many firms under one industry. So industry is collection of firms. Firm is a collection of plants. Plant is unit of firm. Firm is unit of industry. This we have read at graduation level in first year. So all firms in the economy produce output using the same production technology that takes in capital and labor inputs. Therefore, the level of output represented by Y, the level of capital represented by K, the level of labor represented by L, and with these there will be formation of Solow model equations further. So in the third assumption, all firms in the economy produce output using the same production technology. The assumption of the Solow model, fourth assumption is that in the Solow model it is assumed that capital K, capital L and capital Y, these three Roman alphabet, most frequently used as capital stock, as population or labor stock, labor or population stock, and output stock. So all these three are linked through the production function equation, that Y is equal to a small a, capital F stands for function, capital F, bracket K, comma L, bracket close. That means output production is a function of labor and capital. A stands for a constant here. Fourth assumption in the Solow model. The Solow model assumes that production function exhibits constant returns to a scale. Short, it is written CRS. At many places, CRS. Constant returns to the scale. This constant return to a scale, you can think at graduation level you have read that increase in the labor by lambda, increase in capital by lambda, output will increase by lambda. That means if you increase labor, if you double the labor, if you double the capital, the output will be doubled. This is called constant returns to a scale. So whatever you change right hand side on the inputs, same rate will be followed by the left hand side in constant returns to a scale production function in the norm. We all know that production function is of two types: short-run production function and long-run production function. Short-run production function is related to one unit of factor labor will change and all other factors will remain constant. One input will change, but rest inputs are constant. Then this increase in production will be known as loss of returns. Production function, short-run production function, is known as loss of returns. We know that there are three laws of returns: law of increasing returns, law of constant returns, law of diminishing returns. This is a short-run production function. But when we talk about long-run production function, then there will be law of increasing returns to a scale, law of constant returns to a scale, law of diminishing returns to a scale. In this Solow model, it is assumed that the production function assumed to be based upon constant returns to a scale. We all know that the production curve may be a straight line, may be increasing but concave curve. And in this case, constant returns to a scale is applied, assumed in the production function. The sixth assumption that the mathematical analysis of the Solow model focuses on output per worker instead of aggregate capital stock. When we will discuss and analyze model established by Solow, then everywhere we will use capital K upon L, that is capital per worker, Y upon L, that is output per worker. So dividing the variables by L, this means we are thinking in terms of real production, real amount of the capital, and therefore in the mathematical analysis of the Solow model focuses on output per worker instead of aggregate capital stock. And focuses output per worker instead of output per worker instead of output per worker and capital per worker. instead of aggregate output and aggregate capital stock. So everywhere in a Solow growth model, analysis will be done on the basis of output per worker, capital per worker, and on that basis it is proceeds further. Seventh assumption is present capital stock represented by K. Future capital stock is represented by present capital stock is represented by K. Future capital stock is K dash, and depreciation is represented by D. The level of capital investment is represented by I, and all are linked through capital accumulation equation. K dash is equal to K bracket 1 minus D bracket 1 minus D plus I. So present capital stock represented by K, future capital stock is represented by K dash, depreciation is represented by a small d. I have said that it is represented by Greek letter delta also. The level of capital investment represented by I, capital I. All are linked through the capital accumulation equation. We all know that capital accumulation is most important equation to discuss steady growth, a steady rate of capital growth. And the assumption related to seventh point, that capital accumulation equation is developed by K dash. K dash is equal to K dash is equal to K bracket 1 minus D plus capital I, which means in this equation we find that capital accumulation equation, in capital accumulation equation we have K dash as a future capital, K dash future capital, K current capital, 1 minus D depreciation plus capital I investment. So this is the assumptions upon which Solow developed his model. While discussing assumptions of the Solow model, we have seen that eighth assumption of the Solow model is, this is assumptions of competition in goods market, and inputs market in the economy. Ninth assumption of Solow model is related to the type of economy. We all know that what is economy? What is economy? Economy is a place where some economic activities are performed, and that economic activities is performed under autarky, that means no international trade, or under open economy. Nowadays, there are many models, growth models, developed under imperfect competition and in open economy. So, we are talking about Solow model of 1956, and in this equation, in this model, there is assumption of the closed economy. There is no use of international trade in the Solow model. Number 10, there is no role of government in the Solow model. Considering the fact that government will be there, but the budget will be constant, no saving at all. And therefore, Solow did not include government in this output per worker derivations. On the basis of these assumptions, Solow model will be discussed. Just to show a Solow diagram, we see that there is an investment line and there is a depreciation line. Depreciation in this analysis we will discuss as D, and then output per worker Y by L in this vertical axis, and capital per worker on horizontal axis. This Y is output per worker, and this shows that increase in capital per worker will lead to the increase in output per worker. But constant returns to a scale is assumed, as we have seen. We see here that E point, there is intersection. E point, there is intersection between investment curve and depreciation line. When we will discuss in using different equations further, we will find this portion is very important, that at point E there is intersection between depreciation and investment equal to S by Y line. We all know that depreciation is defined as break-even investment per worker. Break-even investment per worker. Depreciation is defined as break-even investment per worker. And K star is defined as a level of capital where there is equality between investment and break-even investment, or you can say that the saving investment and break-even investment, that is depreciation. All these three are equal at point E. And therefore this E point is known as a steady state of capital where investment is equal to break-even investment, that is depreciation. We see this arrow line, that means from E there will be no leftward shifting of capital. There is no leftward shifting of capital because investment is greater than the depreciation. So long as investment is greater than depreciation rate, there will be increase in application of capital in the field of production and output per worker will increase. But from E, there will be no shift to left hand side. From E to right hand side, what we see that depreciation is greater, depreciation rate is greater than the investment rate. This situation is not viable in the economy. Industries will be closed and there will be no movement towards right hand side. No movement towards right hand side in the economy. If anyhow economy comes to this side, then this will not be a stable condition. There will be shrinkage. There will be shrinkage in investment because there is a shrinkage of investment because depreciation rate is very high. Machines are worn out. You have a car, but you cannot use it because its machines are depreciated at such a high rate of depreciation that it is better to have a new car. Here this gives a clue that why there is a purchase of a new car, why there is a purchase of a new machine, why there is a purchase of a new truck. Because if we will stick to that investment of old car, old truck, old machine, there will be more depreciation and depreciation will eat up any gains from the investment. So profit is most important factor in any investment. Returns is very important. If returns are negative, then under private sector, we are discussing no government in this model. It is wise for all investors to shift from this point to E point. So there will be shifting there will not be any shifting towards right, there will not be any shifting towards left, because economy has obtained a stage where investment is equal to break-even investment, that is equal to depreciation. This state is known as a steady state of capital. A steady state of capital, and the accumulation of capital, which we will discuss in detail while discussing the only Solow model, because our approach was to first create a mindset of the students, reading its features, reading its assumptions, and then coming thereafter to different equations. Then thereafter coming to different curves, and then we will analyze that why there is a movement. Just for a while you see this arrow line so that from 0 to it will go to E, and this reverse arrow line shows that anyhow if the economy has gone right side E, it will not be there, it will fall, it will shift and recedes towards E. This is called a steady state of capital. A vertical line adding from K star to F, That means giving you Y star. This is also a steady state of output per worker in this situation. Output per worker in the situation will be in a steady state, because there will be neither increase nor decrease of the output per worker. When there is investment, investment increases, capital per worker increases, and finally output per worker increases from 0 to Y star, from 0 to OK star, from 0 to OK star in case of capital. So this is a steady state of capital, and therefore neither increase nor decrease is possible, and this Y star will be output per worker, that is a steady state of growth will be obtained, and in this situation we will have Solow model, one diagram here. In this diagram, in a static conditions, there is no shocks. We know that in economics there is a great role of shocks. So shocks, under shocks, this steady state will not remain, it will change. That is the dynamic part of the Solow model, which we will discuss in detail gradually, and we will finish it for the moment. Assumption parts of the Solow model. So you concentrate on features and assumptions so that you will be able to know everything about Solow gradually for your competitive examination. This Solow is added to the Bihar Public Service Commission syllabus for project manager, and therefore I will try to help you part by part, and then finally you will be knowing Solow model in general. Why he has got Nobel Prize? You will see that Nobel Prize economist, how could he develop it gradually. Thank you.